Question number 2, still in section 1.4. We have a numerical expression with a rational exponent. We're given 9 raised to the negative 3 over 2 power. Okay, so you need to be mindful and understand. I'm sorry, you can't see this. You need to be mindful and understand that it doesn't matter if the negative is on top, bottom, or out front. It's all the same. Let me show you. Right now, the negative's on the 3. That would be equal to if the negative was out front. And that's the same thing as if the negative was on the bottom. Okay, all of these are going to give you the same answer. Okay, the calculator can input this. I'm going to show you at the end once I've worked it out. I'm going to type in all 3 forms, and I'll show you get the exact same thing no matter where it is. But at the end of the day, if you have a negative, just one of them on the top, bottom, or out front, this is the best way to write it. Out front just means the whole thing is negative, and then solve it from there. So first thing we need to do is we need to convert this to positive. So one of the notes or examples we saw in the learn section showed us if we had a negative out front, we have to move it to the bottom. So right now there's no bottom. And when I say bottom, you got to think about this number 9 as a fraction. So imagine this as being 9 over 1. This 9 is being affected by the negative 3 over 2, so the 9 has to come to the bottom. So now I have a fraction with 9 on the bottom. The 3 over 2 comes with it, and now it is positive. Okay, so I have nothing left at the top, so we have to put a 1 there, understood to be a 1. 1 times 9 is 9, so I haven't really changed anything. That 1 is just a placeholder. Okay. But we need to put that up there. Now looking at those properties, remember, the bottom number was the root, top number was your power. So you want to write 1 over, and then we're going to do the 2 on the outside, which you don't have to have the 2 because that's what square root is. So whether you put the 2 or not is understood. And then we have 9 inside and raised to the 3rd power. So we have 2 things or 2 ways we can work it. Either we can do, and so this is what the book was trying to show you, we can do 1 over, and we can do it like this with the cube first and then square root it. Or we can do the square root first, and then we can put the 3 on the outside and cube it later. I would much rather you work it this way. I can do it this way by hand. Hard to raise 9 to the 3rd power and then square root that, because that's going to be a really, really big number. But either way you do it, it's the same, and calculator will handle both inputs, but you want to do as much by hand as you can. So the square root of 9 is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. So this term is becoming 3. So 3 here, and we still have a 3rd power up here, and my 1 still on the top. So now I have to do 3 times itself 3 times. So 3 times 3 times 3, 3 cubed is going to give us 27. 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27. So my final answer is 1 over 27. So let me show you some technology, how we'll handle this. If you want to be able to go through this process, technology will handle it right from here and give you that same answer, but I want to show you both real quickly. So I have an online calculator so you can kind of see the face. If you have an 84, 84 is better, but this 83 will work just the same. Okay, so I'm going to type it in. No, disregard the 1 on the bottom, just 9 raised to the negative 3 over 2. It's going to look a little bit different here because it's the older version of the calculator, but you'll see. So I'm going to type in 9. If you do the exponent, this right here makes an exponent. And then I'm going to do in parentheses, because it's a fractional exponent, negative 3 divided by 2, and then close it. So this is saying I want 9 to be my base. This house top is saying whatever follows this is my exponent, so this is your exponent. When I hit enter, okay, it gives me the answer as a decimal. I want to see what is it as a fraction. Okay, so I'm going to do the math button right here, hit math, and the first option says frac. So if you hit enter on that, it says I'm going to take your answer right here and turn it into a fraction. hit enter again, and you can see 1 over 27. Same thing we did. Okay? If I do it again, I'm going to do 9 raised, open parentheses. This time I'm going to put the negative out front, so I'm going to say negative, and then I'm going to open parentheses so it says separate, 3 divided by 2. So this time I'm wanting them to say, I just want the negative out front of this term. Okay, you get the same thing, and if I do math, enter, same thing. Okay, and then if I do it the last way, I'm going to put the negative on the bottom. 9 raised, open parentheses, 3 divided by negative 2. Same decimal answer. If you hit math, enter, okay, you get 1 over 27. Now, if you do all of this by hand, okay, this is kind of complicated to put in the calculator, but with some practice you can get it. If you do all this by hand, let's say you get here and you don't know what to do. You know you're going to have a fraction with 1 on the top. We're just going to input this bottom part into the calculator and let it evaluate this for me. So I'm going to do this both ways and just show you that you get 27. It doesn't matter if you put it with the exponent inside or you put the exponent outside, it will give you the same thing. So square root is down here, the x squared button, but it's in yellow. So I have to do second and then the x squared button. This gives me square root. So this example, you're not going to see a 2 on the outside. Okay, it's understood. Then inside, it doesn't show it going a long bar going over it, but they open parentheses, which indicates everything in parentheses is a part of the square root or under the square root. And then I'm going to do, let me do the actual cube because I like to see that 3. So what I did is I hit math and I'm going to hit option number 3 and I'll see that 9 cubed. Okay, so what's this saying? Square root 9 cubed, this is on the inside. Okay, if I hit enter, gives me that 27, that's what we got on the bottom. I'm also going to do it this way, I'm going to put the cube on the outside. So I'm going to do second square root again. I'm going to do 9, close it, so 9 in parentheses, and then I'm going to do math and then option number 3 because I like to see that 3 as the exponent. So now it's saying this is the selection. We're doing the cube afterwards, and you still get 27. So a couple things you can learn with the technology. It will compute it for you, but you do want to think and show some work. You're required to do that. So what we want here is a fraction 1 divided by 27.